How's everybody doing today? So I see, once again, we've had it put into our face that white folks, we are the problem. We're the problem. We're the problem. Our refusal to honestly deal with our history of hatred, racism, genocide is a problem. Our inability to see where the unhealthiness of our culture is the problem. Our inability to see how racism and Christianity all tied up in together is a problem, is the problem. And the biggest problem is that we do not see we are the problem. God bless everyone. Have a beautiful afternoon.
White men are the mental health problem in this country. Jim Crow, white men. Slavery, white men. Segregation, white men. Concentration camps for Asian Americans in the late 30s and early 40s. 1,800 people died. How many black people were hung from trees? 8,000. Let me guess. Oh yeah, once again, white men. The gun violence? 98% are men. 84% are white men. U.S. citizens. I see a trend. How about the Middle Passage where 1.2 African Americans died? Oh yeah, once again, white men. Why was the Second Amendment written? Let me think. So black people couldn't have their freedoms. So the white men could once again control them. Who's in the White House? An adjudicated rapist, convicted felon white man. Wow, I see a trend. But somehow Americans are just begging to blame a trans person, a non-white person. See, what happened to George Floyd is symbolic of what's happening in this country. The white man putting his knee on the neck of a non-white person and sitting there in broad daylight with the balls to say, who's going to stop me? And that's what we're seeing right now. So that's the question that we need to ask ourselves as a fucking country. Who's going to stop them? Because I'm just one person here. Now, I don't know about you, but I got friends and family that are sitting behind the white privilege, and I want nothing to do with them. Not because of who they are, because their lack of action. Martin Luther King said, history is going to remember not the people that did bad things, but the good people that stood by and did nothing. Because once again, the white man is hiding behind their privilege while everybody else is getting treated like absolute fucking garbage. Because it doesn't affect me. You don't even want to go on a general strike to stop fascism. Oh, I can't work. Oh, I got a job. White man is the mental health crisis in the United States of America. It has been since day one. When you look at the majority of them, what do you see? A bunch of insecure little wannabe alpha males with small penises that need big trucks and guns to feel like a real man. That's the real problem, is toxic masculinity. That the white man feels unable to shit on everyone's rights just because of how they look. It's ironic, isn't it, that they demonize black people because they're black on the outside, and yet their hearts are black on the inside. Isn't that ironic? And every single time we see a mass shooting, they're just salivating on the white supremacist red hatters to say, oh my gosh, it was an immigrant, it was a trans person, it was a gay people. 84% of gun violence is white men. But when it happens, like at the church the other day, what happens? Oh, thoughts and prayers. But what happened with the racist podcaster? Oh, they were just dying for it to be somebody on the left so they can just blame somebody else. A white man. The Catholic, the church yesterday. A white man. 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 Ahmaud Arbery. Guess what? 3 white men that chased out a black guy. Breonna Taylor. Oh, a white cop. Again and again and again and again and again. It's the same demographic. White men are the problem in this fucking country. And until we address the real mental health epidemic, which is white supremacy built on white men controlling people, because that's how this country was designed, for 21-year-old landowning white men to shit on everybody else. This country was designed to benefit my demographic, and that is not okay. That is the original sin of this country. And until we address it, we will never be a great country, and we haven't been a great country. And if you don't like that, then you can ship.
Good morning, TikTok fams. I know I haven't been on here much this week, and, life's just been lifing. I hate the B word, busy. But, some weeks are just crazier than others, and this one's been a little crazy. But I know, TikTok's at risk again tomorrow. Which I don't know. I don't believe it's going anywhere. Not that I'm like an optimist, but just, it's, if anything, it'll be another opportunity for somebody to say, I say TikTok, look at me, ha. But anyway, before this might possibly go down, I have a post I wanted to do that I've been meaning to do and just haven't gotten around to. But, you know, in my eternal quest to drag white people, and especially white women, and yes, I know I'm a white woman, I just wanted to talk about this real quick. So, white people are the most miserable fucking people on the face of this fucking earth. And also the most fucking judgy. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? And I know I am one of y'all, but I'm not going to say us because this is a part I am not part of. I'm not a miserable motherfucker. I mean, white women especially. I mean, like, so many women on that pew pew post I did about MAGA Man, they're like, why do you need a pew pew? What's wrong with you? Blah, 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 blah. And the other thing is, like, you know, these women who on the post where I cuss, like, why do you have to cuss so much? Why are you cussing? And then when I chew my gum, like, why are you chewing gum? That's so disgusting. Spit that gum out. I mean, it's just bitching about some shit all the fucking time. As I learned very early on here from a black woman who said this, and I've repeated it since, if it don't apply, scroll on by. If you don't like me chewing fucking gum, if you don't like me saying fuck, if you don't like me having a pew pew, I don't need to fucking know about it. Just scroll the fuck on. I don't care what you think about me, or me owning a pew pew, or me chewing gum, or me saying fuck 500 times in a video. It's not your business, and I don't care. So just save yourself the however many minutes of energy that it takes you to type out that comment, Karen, and just scroll on by. And then, of course, we all know white men are the most fucking miserable assholes on the face of this earth. And I've talked about that a lot because they like to come on here and try to drag you when you're not the perfect little white woman, submissive, not trans wife. That would be something else. They wouldn't like that. Trad wife. And I mean, you know, tell you you're fat and you're ugly and you're going to be alone forever with your cats and no one's ever going to date you and whatever. And as I've said a million times, I don't care. I don't care that you think I'm chubby. I don't care that you think I'm ugly. I don't care that you think no one will love me. They have, they will, they do. And that doesn't matter to me, even if it doesn't, because I don't give a shit about your opinion about me. But y'all all need to go get a fucking hug. Y'all need to, like, the anger and the miserable, y'all are just all miserable ass motherfuckers. Miserable ass motherfuckers. The lack of joy in y'all's lives is readily apparent. And y'all just need to go find some fucking joy somewhere. Because I guarantee you, from personal experience, when you start finding joy in actual life, and, you know, in living and in doing things that you love doing, and being an authentic in person, you won't feel so fucking miserable that you need to drag down everybody on the internet that you possibly see to make yourself feel better. So that's my Friday public service announcement. Y'all have a great day. Bye. I also want to add to the back end of this, because I forgot as a PS, that this is not an issue with black people, by the way. And again, it shows a lot of difference between white people and black people. I have never had a black man tell me that I'm fat or ugly or that I won't be loved and will be alone the rest of my life. I've never had a black woman, you know, discourage me from cursing. In fact, in the video that I did, the rant video in the bathroom where I said, warning, I may cuss a lot, people came on and were like, you didn't cuss enough. You need to cuss some more. That's not cussing. Come on. And I mean, no black women dragged my ass about a pew pew. They were like, girl, you get your pew pew. You get it and you learn how to shoot it. I do. Da, 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 da. I mean, yeah, the lack of judging and the amount of support among black people, totally different. And that's because they're a lot more confident in their skin, their dark, melanated, brown skin than we are in our pale, mayonnaise-hued exteriors.
I got a letter recently that my property taxes are going to go up $600 a year from now on. I got a letter that my homeowner's insurance is going up $60 a month. My propane company sent me a letter that my propane is going to double this year. They just came and filled up my tank. It was $1,000. That's crazy. Also, as a entrepreneur and business owner, I get my health insurance through the marketplace. So you have the Affordable Care Act. I pay $45 a month. They just informed me that if this bill passes and I lose my tax credit, I'm going to go from $45 a month to $660 a month for health insurance. I need to buy a new car and I can't because the cars have gotten more expensive and the interest rates have gotten so much more expensive. I can't find a reliable car that has the same monthly payment of $450 a month that I've been paying now for a new car. Not necessarily new, but new to me. Groceries are insane, and it feels like every day I get a new email from another subscription that I have, whether it's Netflix, my website subscription, everything's increasing in price. And I sit pretty much every day stressed about money, and yet I know that there are so many people in this country that are way worse off than me, and they're not making it, y'all. They're not making it. What hurts me the most is that there are so many women, especially, that just cannot afford to leave abusive homes, and they have to stay in it because of this economy. So are we great again, America? Like, is this what you voted for? Meanwhile, they all sit there in DC, not feeling any of these pressures, not doing anything about it, not giving a shit about the American people. I have been extremely poor, and I have been extremely wealthy. And I know from firsthand experience that the wealthy people don't notice it. And most people are pretty self-absorbed and aren't thinking about other people anyway. So we got to talk about this more. We got to raise hell. We have to let DC know that this is not acceptable. Regardless of your party, we have got to help each other.
Okay, now, we know very well that, for generations, white America was the symbol of the dream. And comfort, control, and of course, certainty. And but now, that's not exactly. Something is shifting. Now you can feel it, of course, the anger, the confusion, the sense that the system doesn't work anymore. Suddenly, the very people who build the system are being crushed by the same system. Jobs disappearing, cost rising, mental health collapsing, families falling apart sounds very familiar. And of course it should, because Black America has lived that reality for centuries. And now, when Black thinkers, preachers, and of course artists warned that unchecked greed, racism and inequality would rot America from within, nobody listened. And when Dr. King talked about the spiritual death of a nation obsessed with material wealth, people cheered the quote but ignored the meaning. Decades later, the very storm that battered the Black community is tearing through white American too. And addiction, loneliness, economic despair is the same script, just with a different cast. And here's the twist. Many white Americans are now turning to the same wisdom, resilience, and faith that the Black folks used to survive. The church, the community, the storytelling, the soul of survival, because when the dream collapses, only truth keeps you standing. And so maybe this is the moment for a national reckoning. And of course, a time to listen, really listen to the voices that warned them long ago, not out of pity, but because healing might, finally begin when white America admits that Black America wasn't the problem, it was the prophecy. So it's about this one, guys, that I've compiled those particular videos, and the ones that we've just watched as a prelude, courtesy of the creators. And then me and you are going to watch, and of course, we're going to make our thoughts towards the end of this particular show. And as we usually do it here, I'll also circle back with my own thoughts and comments over the same. So let's keep on watching.
All right, I'm drunk. Let's go. So if you're feeling broke, you're not alone. Dude, I don't open up about what I do very often on here, but I've been in mortgages for the last 12 years. So if you want to lump that in with finance, that's fucking fine. There's a little bit of a tech angle on there. It doesn't matter. But here's the deal. Up until the last handful of years, I have been deep into the six figures. I have a corner office overlooking a lake. Things have been pretty good for me for a long time. They're not good for me anymore. To the point where I'm trying to survive like the rest of y'all. Now look, I know what you're going to say. Oh, we've been like this the whole time. Look, the point to this video is people like me have been catching up to you over the last couple of years, and now people above me are starting to catch up to you. Don't waste your time fucking arguing over who's been struggling longer. Everyone's starting to realize how fucked, how cooked everything is now. And we need to embrace each other and join together. And when I say struggling, I mean, dude, I left my corner office on 5 o'clock on Friday, And I have been driving Uber, Lyft, and Uber Eats nonstop since then, just to keep the fucking ship afloat. Because to own the home that you owned when things were good, to feed your kid no matter whether things are good or bad, all of those things, you have to do what you have to do. And it means swallowing your pride and driving fucking Uber and DoorDash and whatever the fuck else is coming on. I just got signed up with the fuck Walmart Spark. I don't know. I did one. I didn't really like it. I may not do it again. But I might start making more videos about kind of the dichotomy there. Like, I work in a world where you're supposed to be successful and you're on your grind set and all that shit, but nobody's fucking making money. Everybody's fucking faking it. Because what a lot of people don't realize is no matter where you fit in the kind of finance world, the real estate world, the mortgage world, they're all super related, but it's all either mostly or 100% commission. If you ain't fucking closing deals, you ain't eating. So all of us are coming up with these weird side hustles. This is one of them. The whole reason I started this TikTok is like, I'm desperate enough to where I see these young kids making money. So my old ass is going to jump on here and see what it is. And I've made a little, but don't let these fuckers fool you. Any of these cats that get on here and talk about how fucking great they're doing just off of TikTok, they're full of shit. Like, I'm talking, sometimes I get a few million views in a month. I'll get like, I don't know, $400 or something, which is great. My only goal with this app is to make the phone that I'm talking to you on pay for itself. And I'm averaging making that happen. So that's good. My only goal with Uber and Lyft is to make my car pay for itself. My car makes its car payment. That's great. My only goal with the mortgage job is to make other people's houses pay for my house. Luckily, with the way shit's going, I only have to close a deal every so often to squeeze that in. But like, I don't know how else to tell you. I get it. You're going to be like, oh, tiny violin, cry me a river, all that shit. But my life has changed dramatically. And I'm just opening up and sharing that with you, that I, for a long time, didn't worry about money. Now, every fucking day, I lose sleep over it most nights. I am constantly thinking about fucking money. And it's maddening. And it deteriorates people's mental health. And I've started to understand people that I didn't understand leading up to this time in my life. Once again, I get it. Fucking cool it in the comments, okay? I'm just catching up. Give me a minute. It's crazy. The mental health effects of not having access to food and like making decisions on which bill is going to be late and things like that. It crushes you. It crushes you. And it makes me fucking sick when I get on here and see people with the, oh, nobody wants to work anymore. Yeah, nobody wants to work for you for shit wages. Look, man, if you're not willing to pay people enough to where they don't have to worry about money, then you're a shit boss, you're a shit company, and you don't deserve to exist as a company. You don't. Look, even if people aren't doing a good job that you have hired, it's because they're fucking worried about money. They're falling apart on the inside because they're stuck wherever the fuck you've put them for however much an hour or however much a year, or whatever the fuck you pay them. If it's not enough for them to just like be chill in their life, then it's not enough. You're gonna have to up the pay, or you're just gonna have to either lose the people or keep the people and let your business suffer. That's what I don't understand, is nobody considering that your business is suffering because the people that work for you are suffering. Where's the breakdown here? It's just, dude, it makes me crazy. Every fucking year, just sit down. You don't even have to like do the math yourself. Just go Google cost of housing, cost of this, cost of that, and come up with a very basic, like, I'm talking survival level amount of life, housing, food, school, daycare, whatever, maybe add 5 to 10% on top of that and just be like, okay, here's the base salary my company offers, and you can earn your way above that. But if you crunched those numbers, I have a feeling so many people, if you're a boss of any kind, went and just Googled those random numbers, added them together, and expanded it out to a year, that number is probably going to be higher than what you pay most of the people that work for you. And that's a fucking problem. It's a fucking problem. I don't have the solution right now. Like I said, not exactly so apparent right now. So let's revisit this. Drop in the comments what else you want me to talk about. I can go on a rant about most anything. So give me your ideas. I will just start plugging away at them.
I'm going to die on this hill that America is horrible because of white people. I'm going to absolutely die on that hill. No tea, no shade. Nah, fuck that. All the tea, all the shade, disrespectfully. I truly don't understand how white people get up every day and look at themselves in the mirror. Because I genuinely think that there are good white people out here. However, you are the remnants of your ancestors, and that's just something that you're going to have to deal with. Which is why y'all commit suicide in a majority according to the CDC site. You commit suicide in the majority because even though the system caters to you and you have everything, you can't live with yourself. You can't live with the remnants of your ancestors. You can't sit with that. So the minute you get a little pushback, it's a lot for you to take because you're not accustomed to being resilient like people of color. You're not accustomed to that. Which is why psychologically and mentally white people are weak. Don't shoot the messenger. The truth hurts. Oh yeah, and one last thing before I really truly land a plane. I got to say one more thing. And another thing. There's nothing truly that you white people can be proud of. Like, you can't be proud of nothing. You can't be proud of your existence. You can't be proud of your history because you really don't have a history that you can truly stand on. You have stole and unalived people and done the most heinous, egregious shit to people just so you can survive to this day. You have nothing you can be proud of. And that alone, if I lived in that agony every day, that would make me commit suicide. A lot of times I have to turn my hate for you guys until extending grace. Because the bottom line is you being hateful is all you know. That's all you know. And it's nothing that we can do with you all if you have been operating out of hate your entire lives. Like, that's who y'all are. And that's what black folks are not understanding. This is why y'all black people need to stop coming up here going back and forth with them. It is embedded in their DNA. They're committed to not understanding our struggle. They're committed to not understanding that what their ancestors did is the direct result of why they are the way that they are to this day. They're committed to not understanding that. And once y'all black folks understand and overstand that shit, then a lot of things will start making sense. Y'all got it, Ro?
Can we talk about how miserable white people are for a second? Like, you know that white people are miserable, right? Like, have you ever looked a white person in the eye, even if they're like a big mental health person? You just look deep down and you're like, brother, you are not happy at all. And truly, it breaks my heart. But one reason, I think, one of the main reasons that a lot of white people, a lot of us are really unhappy and miserable is because we lack internal congruence. Now, congruence is a concept we learned early in grad school to help people heal. And congruence is basically internal alignment. Values and actions are on the same page, right? Like, we accept every part of ourselves. We feel peace, security in who we are. Congruence. And no matter how hard you try, you can never find internal congruence if you're not congruent with the world around you. If you're not understanding what's real and seeing reality and affirming what's true. So like white people who deny patriarchy and capitalism's negative effect and oppression of the world and genocide that's happening around the world, like that's incongruent with reality. That is going to have an effect on us internally. Because to deny what's happening in real time, we have to deny certain parts of us. certain emotions, certain thoughts that come up. And the more we run for that, the more incongruent and separate we feel, the more dissonance that comes, the more miserable we are. And a lot of times we're not actually dealing with our own pain and our own reality, because we're all suffering under capitalism and white supremacy. Like, it affects us different ways in intersectionality, but like, it affects us white people too. You don't think a stormtrooper in the fucking Star Wars movies hates his life? You don't think he hates being bossed around all the time? You don't think poor white people living in the empire, like in a city walls, like in a Game of Thrones, like you don't think that they're miserable under it, even though they're not miserable the most? To be congruent inside, to not be miserable anymore, it takes accepting the realities of the world, seeing how those toxic systems affect us, and then moving to actually be congruent. Because deep down, humanity has goodness at its center. So yeah, white people, we're miserable because we're not congruent, because we're denying the realities of the world, and thus denying ourselves.
The only way the average white person can feel like they have any power in this world is by oppressing people who have less than them. These white people are not part of the 1%. They're not part of the ruling class or the elite rich. And they know this. They know they have no real power. But they're also aware that the elite set up a system that benefits them as well. So they take part in this system. Despite having the same means as people of color, doing the same jobs and the same careers, making the same amount of money, the only way they can feel superior is by taking part in the oppression of people of color. Either that, or they're too stupid to realize that they're under the control of the 1% and they're just like us. So that's why when people of color talk about white privilege, the average white person gets so upset. I don't have any privilege. I don't come from a wealthy family. I had to work for everything that I have. They don't realize the system that was implemented by our masters is the very one giving them access to everything that they have in life. They feel oppressed by the ruling class, so they oppress others to feel powerful. And this is not to excuse the racism of white people. This is just to give you an understanding of why they are the way they are.
Have you ever said, what did I ever do to deserve that? You know, like the treatment that some toxic, manipulative, emotionally immature, or narcissistic person had treated you. What did you do? The truth is, you likely didn't do anything. See, miserable people are miserable, and they're going to try to make everyone else miserable. And if you've been in any of those kind of relationships before, you know exactly what I'm saying. Remember, miserable people just bring misery wherever they are. So think about that and follow me.
As a black farm operator, the one thing that I'm sick of hearing from white farmers is how you're struggling. Excuse me, my people not only struggle, the USDA objectively spent more money trying to keep black farmers out of farming than to actually help us. Meanwhile, white farmers were not only getting land, you're getting conservation payments. Do you even know what that is? The white farmers and their families for generations were given land, and they will be paid to not farm that land. Because it's for conservation, it's for environmentalism. The same white MAGA farmers who vote against climate change initiatives, who vote in favor of policies that harm the environment, are now the same crybaby bitches who are crying about them not getting conservation payments. Excuse me, you don't even believe in environmentalism, but you want payments for not farming your own land. You want payments for not working your land. You want payments for being lazy. You want payments for being white. That is the usual suspect, the usual problem in this country. The reason why we spend so much money on freaking farmers and subsidies is because of white farmers. Because black farmers don't even ask the freaking USDA for anything because we know better. You want to know why? For generations, the USDA has done nothing but help white farmers get them land, get them conservation payments, help them with animals, help them get freaking education, mechanize their freaking farm equipment. You do all that shit, and now you want to come to me saying, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. I've been doing that, and that's why I'm not struggling like you are. That's why. You want to know why? Because when you give a man a freaking fish, he will eat for a day. But if you teach him how to fish, he will eat for a damn lifetime. And guess what the U.S. government has been doing with freaking white farmers? You've been giving out a whole lot of fish. You gave out the whole ocean's worth of damn fish. And now all of a sudden you can't do anything to function on your own. On your own. And the way that we know that you have focused so hard on getting subsidies from the U.S. government is that your crops reflect that. Your crops reflect that. Without your slaves, Without your cheap labor from freaking Mexico and Honduras and Ecuador and Brazil, without your illegal immigrant slaves, your ass is falling. The reason why so many farm hands get paid so little is because it's been taken over by white farmers who were used to having slaves. So guess what? They don't want to pay top price to damn farm hands. So it's up to black farmers to actually pay people to actually farm the land, to actually be self-sufficient. Unlike the privileged, bullshit ass, crybaby ass white farmer. I've never got what the hell you've gotten. So stop crying.
Yeah, here we are. So white people are the problem here. And now they're turning back to the wisdom that, they despised decades ago. And of course, they're realizing that the wisdom, the resilience that the blacks are putting forward is something that they really, really need. They don't need material wealth as a help from the blacks. They don't need, let's say, for example, a come together, compare kind of a thing and protest together for the rising cost of living. No. Blacks, how are you doing it? Like, they really need that particular resilience, that particular wisdom, because they have realized that, when the storm, this is something that the blacks had endured. It's only that they're having the same script, but with a different cast here. As the African proverb goes, like, the forest is the same, but we're having different monkeys in it. And now it is what is exactly happening. Now they're reverting back to the wisdom that the resilience are asking, how are you blacks doing it? And that is what we call, in this particular case, crying for help, for that particular help. I go by Sherlock. If it's your first time that you're bumping across this particular channel, how about a thumbs up? That will do me good to put a smile on my face. Tiny little comment on the comment section. Let the conversation continue there. And of course, above all, tribe. See you in the next one. Cheers.